Hey everyone, Manuela Marcheggianni from Isomers Laboratories. Welcome to our channel. This is a channel where we talk about skincare. We talk about the science of skincare. We talk about skin and any of those topics in between. I'm a cosmetic chemist with over 35 years experience. Today, we're going to talk about how the sun ages the skin and the role of sunscreen. When we talk about skincare, many times you will hear all the professionals, doctors, estheticians, mothers, fathers, telling their children and their loved ones, wear sunscreen. Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. Why? Because it really is important. It really makes the difference. For a lot of people, unfortunately, it's a life and death difference. But we're not going to go there right now. We're just going to talk about what happens to your skin, to your body under UV. So the sun is out there and it's really nice and warm and friendly, and the sun has a lot of good properties, right? Because of the light, because of the heat, because of the fact that it makes vitamin D. And that's also going to affect us emotionally. However, there's a balance here. So things that are good always have a little bit of, wait for the shoe to drop. The sun emits UV rays, that's radiation. And this radiation penetrates into our skin. And what it does do is it basically chews up, if you want to use one term, so it's breaking it down, it kind of cuts or it just destroys protein. Now, collagen is the most abundant protein of the skin. So what is happening is the UV comes in, and you may not notice it right away, right? So you may get maybe a little bit of sunburn, a little bit of redness, and you think that that's just topical. But it's deeper than that. It goes into your system and it starts to kind of reprogram things. And that starts leading to rapid aging or photoaging. And this is why we want to incorporate sunscreen. So when the sun is doing this to our body and breaking down the collagen's breaking down as you age, okay? You can't make the collagen fast enough. Your collagen production is slowing down. The collagen you have now is compromised because of the UV, and so it becomes a vicious cycle. And this is where you start to see a lot of skin damage or sun damage. Some people can have cancers or lesions based on this, because of this. So this is why it becomes a very important topic and something that you can actually, this is the thing about it, there's something you can actually do about it. It's really just applying sunscreen, and apply it everywhere and apply it every day. So it's not like no one told you. Everybody tells us. I'm just as guilty, but I just want to share the information and the insight so you can take, better steps towards protecting yourself. What sunscreen is doing, there's two types of sunscreen. There's a physical sunscreen, okay, so think physical, think shield. A physical sunscreen is like a mirror, it's like a shield, and it stands between you and the sun, and it reflects the UV rays. So those rays don't absorb into you, they kind of just bounces right back off, just like a mirror, just like a shield. Those sunscreens, physical ones, people tend to not like, and they are because they usually are a mineral sunscreen, and they tend to whiten or they tend to be a little bit thicker, but they really are top shelf in protecting you from the UV because they actually interrupt. Nothing gets in. The second type of sunscreen is a chemical sunscreen. So these are chemicals and ingredients we put together, and it sits on your skin. Oh, there's another thing I have to tell you. With a physical sunscreen, you put it on. As soon as you finish putting it on, you can go outside. No problem, right? You've created that shield. With a chemical sunscreen, with those ingredients, you put it on your skin, you've got to wait 5, 10, 15 minutes. Read the directions on the sunscreen that you're using. This allows those ingredients, those chemicals, to go a little bit into your skin, because they don't really sit on your skin. They go into your skin a few microns below. And what they do is they kind of sit there, and then they're going to create something like a shield, but more like a microwave, right? That's the best way I can describe it. So when the UV hits your skin and it hits those chemicals, they start to move and they start to get very excited. And they basically go into action and they shatter the UV rays. That's how that works, right? So there's a lot of activity happening. That's why with a chemical sunscreen, you can still get a little bit of color, but what you're doing is, what the chemical is doing, what the sunscreen is doing, it's allowing a little bit of the ray into a certain level, and then it destroys it before it can go deeper and do more damage. These are the difference between the sunscreens, and this is why we have different kinds of formulations for sunscreen, how you can use them differently. So if you want something that's much more aesthetic, much more pleasing, and you want to still a little bit of a nice hint of color, you use a chemical sunscreen. But the point with the sunscreen is you have to use it every day. We've been looking at a lot of research with what the sun does to our skin, how it ages our skin, how it damages our skin, how it actually causes you to age faster than you normally would because it's breaking it down, the UV breaks it down, and the role that sunscreen plays. And sunscreen applied daily versus applied, every once in a while. Even applying it once in a while is better than never applying it at all. But applying it daily, you basically have a 24-25% increase in protection, or how do they say this? How to say this correctly? The correct way of saying this is, if you use sunscreen every day, studies indicate that you are aging 25% slower than those who use sunscreen intermittently. So you see, it's worth it. So even though we have all of these things stacked up against us, or time, and all these changes are happening, something as simple as a daily application. A daily application of sunscreen is about an ounce, twice a day, more or less. I mean, it all depends on formulas too, but use that as a ballpark figure. Try to cover all your exposed skin, not just your face. Think about your face, think about your hands, and the reason I'm saying that is the sun enters everywhere it can, anywhere you leave an opening. That's why a lot of times I actually like physical sunscreens. I like the whitening because when I put it on, I can see where I missed. And those areas where I missed, usually and the reason why, this way I can make sure that I've covered myself properly. And the reason why I'm so sensitive to it is I've seen a lot of studies, I've met a lot of people who wore sunscreen but wore it incorrectly, and then they had, unfortunately, cancers or, lesions that they had to take out just because of sloppy application. So it's really important to understand that in the long run, everybody is happier when you wear sunscreen every day. Hope you enjoyed this conversation on what the sun does to our skin and sunscreen. If it's been of any use to you, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, have a great day.